Hello, I'm Andrew Leggett from CM First, and I'm going to be demonstrating a sign-on TUI application which has been migrated to CA Plex using CM First's M3 solution, and it's been built as a web application using the CM WebClient tool. So this demonstration is going to mainly focus on the web application that's been generated. So the application itself is being generated from the Plex model as a Java application. So it's standalone web applications being deployed to the Tomcat web server in this case, though other web servers will work, such as WebSphere or JBoss. You can deploy these web applications to maybe your own internal server if it's available within your company, or you can deploy to the cloud if you want to make it available worldwide, and then you can kind of scale up depending on demand, etc. So in this web application we have a sign-on screen, the first thing you'll see here, and the sign-on is controlled by the application itself in this case. So there's a user table and that controls access. It could, we have solutions where we could include single sign-on. So for example, your corporate ID, once you've signed on to Windows, it'll automatically sign you into any web application, so you wouldn't get to see this sign-on screen, though you can continue to use it, and things like audit stamps, whatever, will get updated using your application user. So I can go ahead and sign in to this. So the very first thing you see on the left-hand side is the menu. So this is an option that we can add to the web application to allow you to navigate. So we have multiple options here, but we kind of base it on the menu structure of your application. And it's just a kind of accordion menu with these kind of blades which kind of open up for different sections. You can have multiple levels, sort of drill down into these, and then just by clicking on a menu option, it'll add a new tab up here on the top line, and you can kind of hide or show your menu if you want more screen space. So if you open up multiple functions, you can just switch between them on the tab line. And so that's the basic navigation for the application. And I'll compare this to the original green screen just to give you an idea of kind of where it started from and some of the customizations we can add for the web. So on the right I have the original TUI application. So I'll choose option 1 here. So this is essentially the same function. So we have in the original, on the green screen, we have a subfile listing the applications, and they're working with different databases. This database has been migrated to a SQL server, but it can be any database type, including the original DB2. But coming back to the green screen, we have a sort of positioner up here. So if I position on here, I can load the grid at the point where I want to start, and I can do the same thing here. This comes across, so I want to position on the letter I. We have this positioner. So any positioners you have in your original application will come across and still work the same way. We also have our subfile options here, so issue and edit. So in the original, you would tab down and select the equivalent command, so 2 for edit. On the web application, we have options on how we kind of migrate this. So you could have, for example, a context menu. So if you right click, you would see the options you're available, like edit and issue. You could also, we could also give you a text field where you can enter, I or 2 for your particular option. But in this particular application, we've just gone for a sort of simple checkbox to select the rows, and then we can just click on which option we want to work with. So let's compare the edit function on here. So I'll just select one for edit, and we go in here and go into the edit function here. So the migration, brings across the 2E model. So all the definitions, the objects, the business logic, validation, etc. All that comes across to the Plex application. So you still get the same functionality, but we have extra flexibility with how we can display things in the browser. So on the green screen here, we have limited screen space, so we need to kind of page down to view all the information. Whereas in the browser, we can fit more on screen. We can have scroll bars if we have more information than will fit on the screen. So things like the tab sequence, the users are used to entering data in a certain way. All that's preserved. So for existing users, moving to the web should be a very simple transition without a lot of retraining. So on the web application, we have kind of updated controls. So for the date entry, when you come into focus on a date field, you'll automatically get a date selector. So you can select dates, select the year, month, etc. And it also performs like validation as well. And you also have all the original key presses, like such as the F3 and the F6 that we see down here. They come across to the browser, so I can F3 to exit, or in this case, if I want to select a product field, I can press the F4 key, and that passes me to the select screen. So the equivalent would be over here, and again you would just go in and just select a particular product. As you can see here, this agent ID is being painted red, and we have the message down here, agent not found. So this is just some validation in the original 2E logic that's basically saying this agent isn't associated with this product that we've entered. As we go down, we have things like drop downs, whereas on the original you'd have to know the values to enter on these particular fields. And so yeah, you have basically the same sort of functionality, kind of like straight out the box as you migrate it. So, but beyond the basic controls that we have, working on the web, we have a lot more flexibility. We can use additional web controls and different presentations. So I'll just take a look at some of those. So I'm going to move into the persons, and I'll just compare it. So here again, same functionality, but we've added more options here, more subfile options that are more relevant to the web and working with additional third parties that wouldn't have been possible on the green screen. So for example, we could associate like a Word document with a particular person, and here we can kind of view it within the browser. We have support for crystal reports, so you can generate reports and view them in the browser without needing to install any third parties. So that's quite a popular reporting tool. You have the option to call or email, things obviously you wouldn't be able to do on the green screen. And you can even export grid data to Excel. So if I save that, it creates a download file for the data in the grid. And if I open up Excel, I can see the data that it's brought in. So that's just a handy little extra that you can get with the grids in the browser. And just to kind of show some more features, if I take a look at this person here and click on address, and I'll do the equivalent here. So that's A for address. Again, it looks pretty similar. You have the edit option here, but we've added an additional view map. So what we can do is we can work with Google Maps or any other kind of web control, and we can link an address to a position on a map. So you can take a look. You can even drop the street maps viewer and take a look there. So if you're maybe doing deliveries, whatever, you can just take a look at the surrounding neighborhood, whatever. That's handy to see these additional features in the browser. So yeah, so beyond kind of that extra functionality, we can also customize the presentation. So taking the same function, we can modify the grid and how it's displayed. So instead of just displaying like the name and address, etc., we can customize the actual display, how it's displayed here, and then I can like select a row on the grid and click address from there. And just to give you kind of another idea of things we can do in the browser that wouldn't be possible on the green screen, we can display charts. So we can have animated charts and dashboard functionality. Just taking the data from the grid essentially, and using third-party charting controls. Again, we have a grid here where you could perhaps have a photograph of the person, or with Plex you can control the what appears on the screen. So in this case you have multiple tabs, so you could have like a tab here displaying photos and displaying the map for whatever reason. So yeah, so all this is kind of the extra functionality that you get once it goes to the web. You're no longer restricted by the green screen. And yeah, that really sort of concludes the sort of demonstration. So it's just a demonstration of the M3 solution. So we had a 2E migrated application, migrated to CA Plex, running with WebClient in a browser. So if you're interested in this or any other modernization solutions, please contact us at CM First, and thanks for watching.